This is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a Scrapbooking 101.5 lesson on making frames for your whole page, but using decorative blades. So let's check out my desktop, my workspace, and we'll get started. All right, so this is my workspace for today's 101.5 lesson. I wanted to talk to you for a minute about all of the fantastic decorative blades that are designed to go with the Creative Memories 12-inch trimmer. They fit on the back with wonderful storage so you don't lose them. And so this is the trimmer. I have the birthday edition, but normally it comes in a white version. These are, I believe, all of the decorative blades that we either have currently or have had. I think we still have them all, but most recently they added the pinking blade, which is this one right here, and the, I'm drawing a complete blank. I think it's Colonial. I think pinking and Colonial are the two newer ones, and so they may be sold out right now because they were brand new not too long ago, but the rest of them have been around for quite some time. My point, though, is that you can use any of these blades to jazz up your layouts rather than just using a straight cut. If you use one of these, then you can make it that much more your own and decorative. And any of them are perfect for doing that with. So I thought that I would show you a couple of different things. I'm going to use the scallop blade today and point out a couple of things about it. That's this purple one right here. And I'm also going to just use a regular, let's use the pinking blade just for fun, since that one's new, okay? And those are going to be the two that we're going to demonstrate just for the purposes of this demonstration here. So a couple things. Now the pinking blade obviously is the same no matter which way you put it in. It's going to still have that kind of zigzag effect that you can see here on the side of it. Hopefully you can see that fairly easily. Let's see if I can focus it a little bit better so you can see that up close. Okay, so the difference between it and the scallop, which just to show you, there you go. The difference between those is that the pinking blade is going to be good no matter which direction you put your blade in. When I instruct people how to use their trimmer, I always say make sure you can read Creative Memories here at the top, and then you're going the right direction, because you can open your blade housing easily because the flap is on the side that's closest to you. There's just a lot of reasons, but this is the most efficient way to use your trimmer. Some people feel more comfortable the other direction. It's completely up to you. But when you swap out your blade and take your straight blade out and put your decorative blade in, when you put the pinking blade in, it's not going to matter whether your CM symbol is facing to the left or if you turn it to the right. You're still going to get the same cut. That's not true for the scallop. The scallop has an arch and points, and if you put the symbol going towards the left, then you're going to get the points pointing towards the left. If you turn it towards the right, then you're going to get the points pointing towards the right. Okay, so if you aren't sure what you're going to get, the easiest way to do it is just turn it upside down and take a look at the shape of the blade. But if that's too hard to see, then just cut a scratch piece of paper, and then you'll be able to tell exactly which way your blade is going and which way you can make changes if you want to. So for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm actually not going to use the scallop. I just wanted to pull this out so I could point that out to you. We're going to just use the pinking blade because it'll just be easier for the purposes of this demonstration. what I wanted to show you today is that you've seen me make frames before for my pages. I make them quite often, but I wanted to show you that you can use your decorative blades to do the same things as you would normally do with your straight blade, and it creates a different effect. Okay, so I'm going to actually go to 1.25 inches out here on my grid to the right of my cutting blade. I'm measuring to 1.25 inches. Then I'm going to bring my blade housing up so that the side facing me is at 2.25. Okay, so I'm going to put this edge right at 2.25, and then I'm going to come down here until my blade housing gets to 11.75. Okay, that's going to give me an 1.25 inches this way. But what I also want to do is I also want to put an edge on the outside of my frame. So I'm just going to line this outer edge up on the right hand cutting line on my mat. So not the actual place where my blade's going, but roughly 1/8 inch beyond that. And I'm going to come back up here all the way to the top and go, ooh, hello. Don't move on me, paper. I'm going to go all the way down carefully, making sure my paper doesn't shift. And I think it shifted because that doesn't look terribly clean. There, that's better. All right. Sometimes when you use that pinking blade, you get these really cute little shapes. Anyway, so we've got that. Now we're going to turn this once again, and we're going to line it up with the top and go out 1.25 inches. And I can now see where this is going to meet, so I'm going to line this line up on the side of my housing with the cut line here. I'm going to come down to 11.75. So the front of my housing is at 11.75. I'm going to stop there. Then I'm going to retreat and bring this back so that the outside edge is lined up with that far edge of my cutting mat. I have found that when you're making really tiny or really shallow cuts like this, it is helpful if you go slower. If you slow down, it makes a huge difference. So going out here again to 1.25, coming back up, coming back down so the edge is at 11.75. Oop, have to do that outside edge. And I'm actually holding the cut frame. That's why my fingers are so close to the bar, to hold that paper still so that I don't end up with issues. And this time I can line up that line on the side of my housing with the cut area, and I'm good. But I still have to cut this outside edge. Okay, so it's a little harder to keep a straight line going. That's what I'm finding anyway. But it's not too far off. Depends on how exacting you are. It's pretty darn close, I think. And then you can just take it and put it right on top of another piece like that, which is fun. If you wanted to, you could then take this piece and cut another frame out of it. So let's give it let's cut a 1/2 inch. We'll do a 1/2 inch on that side and a 1/2 inch on this side. Okay, then we'll go out a full inch this way and come up here, and we'll start this end of our housing at the 2-inch mark, so right there, and then we'll stop it so when this end of the housing is at the edge of our paper, so the 9-inch mark. And then we'll turn. Again, line the tip of that design up at the 1-inch mark. Come up here, come down to the edge of the housing is at the edge of the paper. Turn, lining it up at 1 inch. Starting at the cut line, coming down. This is a really quick way to give your paper, give your layout some added design features without having to use extra pieces of paper, without having to spend a lot of extra time. So there you've got essentially a double frame using a decorative edge, which jazzes things up quite a bit. And all you would need to do is put your pictures on here, add some embellishments and some journaling, and you're done. Sound good? That's really super fast. Should we try a different one really quick? Let's see if we have just a minute or two that we could do that. Let's turn this over and find another blade that we could do. Let's try let's do the Victorian edge. That one is a little larger, so it'll be a little easier for you to see. And the Victorian edge is a lot like the pinking shears one, where you don't have to be as careful because it's going to be relatively the same no matter which way you choose to cut. So here I'll just use another piece of cardstock, and rather than put an extra, let's do this. I'm going to make this frame just a little smaller, so we're going to just cut a 1/2 inch off. We're going to make an 11.5 by 11.5 inch square. Okay, then we're going to switch the blades and put the Victorian blade in here. And I'm going to just give it a 1 inch. Let's go with 1.5. We're going to go with a 1.5 inch frame. Okay, so 1.5. That means that the edge of this housing is going to start at the 2.5 inch mark. And I'm going to come down here to the 11 inch mark and stop. That way my blade stops at 10.5 inches. No, 10 inches, sorry. The blade stops at 10 inches. Okay, so then we're going to turn it. Again, line it up at 1.5. Come up here to where we've cut. Come down here to the 11 inch mark and stop. Turn it. So you can use clips like I've shown you in the past. Clips will help ensure that you are stopping in the right place and in the same place every single time. That's my go-to when I don't want to have to pay as close attention. But for this one, I'm watching it very closely and making sure that I'm starting and stopping where I want to. Okay, so now we've got this one. Just another option. Doesn't that look nice when you have an alternate edge on the frame? And then we could do the same thing that we did with the other one and cut, let's see, I'm just going to cut a 1/2 inch off to make another sized square. And then we'll make a 1-inch frame for the inside. So the tip of my design is at the 1-inch mark, and I'm starting my cut at the with this side of the housing at the 2-inch mark, coming down here and then stopping when the housing gets to the edge of my paper, turning it. If you're not doing a 1-inch frame, then you have to do a little more math and you have to stop before that edge of your paper mark. But that's why doing a 1-inch frame is relatively quick, because of the dimensions of the housing. Alright, so then we've got that little extra decorative element in there. And then this frame space is 6 inches. So you've got the perfect space to frame a 6x6. You could put 2 3x6 photos in that space if you wanted to. Alright, I hope this has been helpful and given you some ideas for new things that you can try with your scrapbooks. And until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Make it a great day.